So this video is to show the DOC and its daily use for a deal stacker, really, just so they can see how the flow works. So there is another video to show the setup of it. So this is based on the setup that I have done in the other video. So if you haven't seen that, then it might be worth watching that one first. So I've got 4 customer types here: Mr. Retail, Corporate, Motab and Commercial. So Mr. Retail is the first customer I'm going into, and into my offers. So what I've done is I've set up a standard margin structure for all cars except for Prius. Prius doesn't get percentage margin, it just gives a money value, which is again in the setup video how I've done that. So if we go into the IGO first of all, the dealer options that I've added are gap and paint and fabric. So if I just expand my total profit box and start to click here, you will see at the bottom of the total profit down here, you will see how that is starting to work based on the cost that I've added. So these cost prices I've added into my dealer options section, which again is on the other video. If I want to add in an ad hoc accessory, so let's say I want to put in roof rack top box, and I also want to add in push that through there. I also want to add in let's say a set of mats. I know that they cost me £32.75, and I know we sell them out at £65. So you can now start to see the margin that I'm making based on this. If you don't know the cost price, what I'd recommend is just put the excluding tax price in the cost box, just so you don't start earning lots of. If I take that out, it's going to show that I'm making £54 when I know I'm not, because they're going to cost me something. So just make sure that you add in something into there, just to give you a more precise accessories amount. But as I said, if you don't know the cost price, then the best thing to do is probably just add the excluding tax price into the cost price, just so you're not suddenly running away and earning loads more margin than what you think you are. Into our deal builder. So in here, when you add, if you need to give discount on the vehicle, please do make sure you use the incentive columns that you've got set up. Don't change the vehicle base price, because obviously this is working on percentages of this. So if I just change this to £10,000, then giving £1,724 off isn't going to give me the right amount. So I've just given nearly £2,000 off, and that's still showing that amount of margin. So we always recommend 11724 to obviously to calculate VAT etc. correctly. Then please do add discounts into your discount boxes. I don't have any in this one, but you will have incentives set up. If you don't, then go into tools and add a new incentive, which I actually will just will show you. It's probably easier. So incentives, discounts. I'm going to call this retailer allowance. That's active, and add. So if I go back into my Mr. Retail, okay, so I've got retail allowance there. So if I want to give discount on that car of 500, okay, so you can see it's giving me 14482. So if I take that out and do it this way, 14482, it's telling me I'm still making 1,811, even though I've just given £500 off. So 11724. So please do make sure you use the discount boxes. Okay. Finance income. This is on It's a default margin structure, so you won't need to add it in when setting up your margins. If you're using Black Horse at the moment, you can get the commission through from Black Horse, but you can't get it. We don't supply it through any other finance house currently. This is as of April 2019. But obviously, if it's just a campaign, new car campaign, you're probably going to know what your doc fee / commission is going to be. If it's used cars, it's going to be obviously a lot more flexible. But you can type whatever you wish into there. Now with our margins, I set these up to have 4% front end, 222 and 2, and this one at 0 because this is my specific derivative margin, which I'll come back to. So let's say that I'm not hitting my objective, I'm not hitting my retention, I'm not hitting my CSI, and I've not passed my showroom audit. So that's now what I'm working with. If, however, it's on maybe a sliding scale and you know you're at 1% on each, you can just go and change it. So you can make these as flexible as you want. Now, the reason I've put in specific derivative margin is when I was with an Audi retailer recently, they said that if they do a Quattro, they earn maybe 2%. If they do an SE, they earn a bit more. So they actually have a flexible margin based on the derivative they're selling, which we, when setting up the DOC for Inquiry we don't drill it down into derivative because the list would obviously be enormous. So the specific derivative margin is for us to just maybe go in and say, okay, well, this is a Quattro that I'm selling, or a specific, obviously this is an IGO. So let's say on IGO Explores, you get 2% front end, and on the Explore you get another 1.5. So you can fiddle around with your margins quite easily as long as you don't fix them when having them set up. Okay. Now, fixed margins on certain models, I've set up a Prius to have a fixed margin on that model. So let's just save this record, go back into our offers and go into our Prius, just so you can see the difference of how I've set that up. So what I mean by this is a recent visit to a Mazda retailer. They said that margin structure on most of their cars is based on percentages, but on a Mazda 6, instead of getting a percentage margin, they earn a fixed monetary margin. So in here, what I've done is I've gone with if I choose a Prius as a vehicle, it will automatically wipe out all of the percentage margins, but give me £2,500. That should be 0, which it is. Give me £2,500 fixed margin on certain models. So let's just take that out. So that will give us an idea of what we're making on that specific type of vehicle. So if we now go back into our daily log and into our next customer type, so you can see the differences. So Mr. Corporate is next. So the way I've set up corporate is just a handling fee. So if it is based on percentages of the car you're selling, then by all means you can put it in. But normally, in my experience, it's a handling fee that comes that you get on a corporate or fleet vehicle. So the way this is set up is very basic. So finance income, corporate handling fee. So by selling a Corolla, I know that we earn £495 on that car minus my PDI, so that's my margin structure. Nice and simple. Back into daily log. Mr. Motability, I've done the same thing. It's again based on handling fee. So if I'm selling a Yaris, I know that with that, we earn £515, for instance, and again minus my PDI, that's now telling me how much margin I'm making on that vehicle. And then finally, commercial. Back into daily log. So with commercial, what I've done is I've actually zeroed the margin structure unless I choose a Hilux or Pro Ace van. So by choosing a Hilux, I get 18%. So in there, 18% minus my PDI. Again, I could add more boxes to it, but I've tried to, obviously the detail I've put into the retail structure. This is really just to show the more basic method of setting it up. So if I choose any other vehicle, so let's say one of those, I get no percentage because I've only set the percentage to appear if I select a Hilux or a Pro Ace. So let's go into one of these. So you'll see what I mean. So again, there you go, that's my other 18%. So based on the car I choose, will automatically select how much margin I've got, but that's obviously done in the setup of it. Now into reporting, if I go into actually, 1 second, I'm going to need to send these offers so these appear. So I'm just going to send these offers so I can get these to appear in my report. For the retail one, we'll actually sell the car. Corporate. So we'll sell the iGo. I think that's the one with the dealer options that I added. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So offer. Okay, so into reporting, F&I reports. So into the DOC report first. I've only done it on new vehicles. The used vehicle one looks exactly the same, but it will pull through your standing values, etc. if you have the correct stock feed. Actually, we will just do. Let's just go in and do another offer. Sorry, we will just go into Mr. Commercial and we'll just do a quick offer on a used car as well. Okay, so I have got in here a recon, purchase price, etc. So this stock feed hasn't got the setup, so I know that car has cost me, let's say it was 7514.82 plus VAT. Okay, at the moment this isn't VAT qualifying, so let me just tick that. So it's now a VAT qualifying car. Purchase price is the same, 7514.82, and the recon on the car is, let's say it's had £100 spent on it, but I know it needs a service before it goes, so I'm going to go £350 in there. So now I can get an idea of what I'm working with based on the structure that I've just added in. So you can see used cars is quite simple. If you've got the stock, as I said, if you've got the stock feed that feeds this in, then you won't have to pop that in yourself. If not, then just type in your standing value and purchase price, and that will give you a total profit number up there. Let's just save that. Okay, so F&I reports, and we're going to show you the new active offers. Okay, so this is on, I want to do retail only to start with. That was a sale, wasn't it? Estimated delivery. Okay, so this is the customer, Mr. Retail. Okay, so you can see here it's showing my variance because my target's 2. I've only sold 1 car. Okay, it's also showing me how far behind my month to date profit I am, etc. But down here, this is the section where we've got the customer record. Okay, so as I move along, I can see that the vehicle is there. I didn't add any factory options. I've got a front end of 2%. Now, if I know that that car is actually earning me more than that, I can override that. Then we've got the specific derivative, which we mentioned about Quattro, etc. When setting that can be overridden as well. So all of this can be updated. I've got my gap, my paint and fabric, my discount that I added, which was £500. Over allowance, finance income, total profit. Okay, and then we've got the back end stuff. So we've got total profit on the car, it's 959, but with back end bonus of 390. So if I know that I'm not going to hit that, I can take them out and I'll just work off the front end profit that I'm guaranteed. So you can see it's quite simple to actually amend your DOC, keeping it live. The close down box, once you close it down, these are greyed out, so I can't now make any changes to that. But however, if I untick it again, I can go in and go, right, showroom audit on that, we've actually earned that money, so I know I've got 2% there. So then close it down. So I'm starting, you can see it's quite amendable as well. The next report is the F&I analysis report. So by customer type, retail. So I've sold 1 car, they've had 1 gap insurance, 1 paint and fabric, how much margin I made out of the gap, how much margin I made out of the paint and fabric, how much margin I made out of the finance income, and then obviously it would give me average sellout rates and finance as well. But because I chose that the customer was actually, when I accepted the offer, I chose cash rather than PCP, it hasn't pulled them bits through. But if I just go back in to that customer again and just change the offer, change the accept offer so it shows as finance, accepted. Normally you would have a list of all your different funders in there as well. So save that. So down the bottom it's showing me an average sellout rate of 0 because I didn't put any APR in either. But you get the idea, hopefully. Then we have a deal book summary report, which will show me for the executives how many cars they've sold and what their profit per unit is, how many finance they've done, what their penetration is, gap, paint, fabric, and then total profit. So this is for sales exec reviews and things, quite useful. And that is conclusion of our video.